Hello children, I welcome you all once again to our political science class, and today we are going to do the last part of our first chapter, that is Constitution, Why and How. Before starting with the class today, let us have a quick recap of what we have already done in our previous two videos. In the first video, we have done the need, features and the functions of any constitution. In the second video, we dealt with the making of the Indian Constitution with all the provisions of the Constitution, Cabinet Mission Plan as well as the procedure. In part 3, that is today's video, we are going to deal with the committees of the Constituent Assembly, and we will also see that from which country's constitution we have adopted certain things and have made them as an integral part of our Indian Constitution. So, without much ado, let's start with our today's class. Children, as we have already discussed, that the Cabinet Mission visualized the establishment of a Constituent Assembly to frame a constitution for India. Members of the Constituent Assembly were thereby elected by the provincial legislative assemblies. Each province and each Indian state were allotted the seats according to the proportion of their population, which I told you in my previous video was that the proportion was 1:10 lakh. Now the seats so ascertained were distributed among the main communities in each province. The main communities were broadly divided into three categories: Sikh, Muslim as well as the general category. Now, looking into the committees of the Constituent Assembly, we find that Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who was the first president of our independent India, he was chairmaning the committees on the rules of procedure along with the steering committee. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of independent India, controlled Finance and Staff Committee, Ad hoc Committee on the National Flag, as well as Union Power Committee. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who is also known as the Iron Man of India, controlled the State Committee as well as the Advisory Committee on Fundamentals. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar controlled the Drafting Committee, Aladi Krishna Swamy Iyer, Credential Committee, and so on. Now children, it's noteworthy that the total number of members of the Constituent Assembly was 385, of whom 93 were representatives from Indian states and 292 were from provinces. After the partition of India, the number of members of the Constituent Assembly came to 299, of whom 284 were actually present on the 26th November 1949 and signed on the final approved Constitution of India. The Constituent Assembly, which had been elected for undivided India, held its first meeting on December 9, 1946 and again reassembled on August 14, 1947 as a sovereign Constituent Assembly for the Dominion of India. It is worthy to note that it took approximately 2 years, 11 months and 18 days for the Constituent Assembly to finalize the Indian Constitution. Coming to the section of provisions which have been borrowed from the constitutions of different countries, it is worthy to note that when our drafting committee was planning to frame the Constitution of India, they tried to refer to the constitution of various other countries, and after referring to those constitutions, they picked up certain features from them and tried to club them together in order to form one constitution, that is the Constitution of India, which is a world-renowned constitution known for its practicality as well as its feasibility. Let's have a quick recap from which countries we borrowed which features. From the Constitution of Great Britain, we borrowed the policy of nominal head, that is the appointment of the president. We even took the system of cabinet of ministry, post of PM, parliamentary type of government, bicameral parliament. We even made lower house more powerful, that is Lok Sabha, more powerful as compared to Rajya Sabha, council of ministers being responsible to the lower house, speakers in Lok Sabha, first part of the post, law-making procedure, the ideal of the rule of law. Similarly, from US, we adopted the policy of nominal head, that is the appointment of the president, cabinet system of ministers, post of PM, parliamentary type of government, bicameral parliament, lower house making more powerful, council of ministers being responsible to the lower house, and speaker in the Lok Sabha. From USSR, we took the policy of fundamental duties as well as 5-year plans. From Australia, we took the policy of concurrent list, language of the preamble, as well as the provisions regarding trade, commerce and intercourse. From Japan, we took the law on which the Supreme Court functions. From Weimar Constitution of Germany, we took the policy of suspension of fundamental rights during the emergency. From Canada, the scheme of federation with a strong center, along with the distribution of powers between center and state and placing residuary powers with the center. From Ireland, we got the concept of directive principles of state policy, method of election of president, as well as the nomination of members in Rajya Sabha by the president. So in this way, we tried to make a constitution, a kind of constitution which has the features of all these constitutions. And that is why our constitution is considered to be the world-renowned constitution, following which the other countries like Nepal have also framed the constitution. So with this, we come to the end of our first chapter, that is Constitution, Why and How. I hope the 3 sequential videos must have proved to be very beneficial for you all to understand the chapter thoroughly. I am also providing you with the link of my notes. Kindly go through them in order to understand the chapter better. Keep learning, stay safe. Thank you.